All right, here we go. Levack's had his dose of Oakland Raiders interviews this week, and he's been going
Have
wacky.
you?
And offensive lineman Lincoln
Nice.
Kennedy, former Oakland Raider, joining us now along with the Falcons and the Tampa Bay Storm. And Lincoln, I got to tell you, this guy all the time on your home for New York sports in Albany, New York, born and raised Albany, has been a Raiders guy since the day he was born, and is so over the top obnoxious about it. You've gotten what, a Tim Brown this week?
I got a high five from Tim Brown. I got to talk to Michael Haynes.
Yeah, he was shaking.
It's pretty amazing. Like
Raider Nation.
diehard, yes, Raider Nation. And now this mountain of a man is in front of me.
Thank you,
One of the only reason I think Rich Gannon is still alive, Lincoln Kennedy.
Make sure he knows that next time he talks to him. That's right.
Well, we walked by him on the street, and he said, you're way more approachable than Rich Gannon,
Yeah.
which I think is interesting because, again, he's in a wheelchair if it's not for you.
Right. Very true. And Rich, we had a great time together, had a great run. I tell Rich all the time, I'm the reason you got that MVP, so better love me.
Former Raiders offensive lineman Lincoln Kennedy with Armen in the back. We're live from Radio Row in Phoenix, Arizona, all thanks to Bud Light. We're up for whatever. So, Lincoln, what's it like being a part of the Raiders radio network and covering this team right now?
It's difficult because I still feel that I can play a little bit.
Really?
I
You
do.
look like you
well,
could.
you can't ever escape it. It's part of your makeup. It's who you are.
It's been, 8 years?
It's been. I've been out of the game for pro game 10 years.
Wow.
So
Wow.
2004 was my last. When I retired in summer 2004. So it's difficult to be on the sideline, to be that close to the game and not part of the game. However, it's a whole new perspective, a whole new idea when you can watch something and articulate what you see to the listeners at home. And got a great response out of the nation and the listeners that follow Raiders football, even though it hasn't been a lot of great things to talk about. But it is. You're always optimistic. It's a great thing about the NFL. No matter what your year's record before, coming year, you always think you got a chance.
They pick on me because every year I go, this is the year they get a winning record. This is the year they're back.
I feel for you, bro. I do.
How often do they, I got to, do you look at this offensive line there now or any of these offensive lines and go, why aren't you guys calling me just to help out, just to get some technique out there?
I might have that up here, but my body will tell you it's a young man's game. And before I chase a defensive end or get in front of somebody again, I need to really shut it down. I mean, I've got kids. My oldest is 21 at SC, and even when I work out with him, I can still feel the aches and pains. I can only imagine if I do it on the weekly ritual as it once was.
Lincoln Kennedy, former Raiders offensive lineman as well as the Falcons. So you're living out in Oakland right now?
No, I live here in Phoenix.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
Phoenix?
Live in Phoenix.
You just fly back and forth to
The
Oakland?
great thing about Southwest Airlines, I guess I get a plug. I should get a check.
There
But,
you go. Ding.
That's
we
exactly
have the
right.
plug bell.
That's exactly right.
We flew Southwest too, so
Yeah.
we
So
give it a
I'm
plug.
on them every weekend, heading up to wherever the Raiders are.
That is
Very
so
nice.
awesome. Now, I'm watching this movie, and all of a sudden, I'm like, who's that? Is Lincoln Kennedy in The Marine with John Cena? Was that you?
Yes, that's true. That was me. You know what? The great thing about that was it's actually funny. When I was I shot an episode of 2.5 Men, and Jeffrey Lurie, the director of 2.5 Men back in the day, said, "Look, I got a friend who's doing a movie up
Back
in
when
the
Sheen
hills."
was there?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly
Got
right. Was doing a movie, and he's like, "I want you to read. They got a part for you." Well, I read the script and the part, and I was like, "This will never make it. This is so corny, so weak." And then, of course, it becomes one of those big sellers. So I'm thankful for John Cena and the Marine, and of course, WWE, the entertainment. So it's been a great run. But yeah, I was in the Marine.
Any more acting coming out of you in the future?
No, I'm acting up on the sidelines when I'm talking about these boys. That's what it is. 'Cause it's frustrating. It's frustrating when, as an offensive lineman, you see offensive linemen make the same elementary mistakes over and over again. It's just like, why are you doing this? You're getting your quarterback killed. And so it is what it is.
What kind of mistakes do you see in offensive linemen in today's league?
A lot of the guys that come out of college have problems blocking one-on-one because of the spread offenses that are predominant in college.
Interesting.
Now, in a spread offense, all you're taught is to get into the guy's way. Just hinder him. Slow him down because the speed is going to take the angles. You don't have to block him. And you come to the league, you're playing against guys who've got that speed. Now you've got to actually block them. Guys have a hard time blocking one-on-one. They're so used to using tandem blocking. You've got to be able to survive on an offensive line by yourself, or you can't make it in this league.
How important is it to trust the guy next to you? Like, is a lot of the problem also that, all right, I don't know if he can stop his guy, so I'm gonna put my hand over there too.
There's a lot of nonverbal communication amongst offensive linemen, and the nonverbal is, well, in all sports, and especially offensive line, there's a level of accountability. You have to trust that guy's going to do it, and he's got to trust that he's going to be able to do it. One of my greatest motivating factors while playing football was I didn't want to let my teammates down.
Right.
So whenever the coach called a play, whether it was over my side or whatever, I never wanted Rich to get hit, especially not by my guy.
Right.
So I took it personally. Even when I had my guy and I saw another guy blitzing, if I remember the play, there's nobody to block him, or I'm just trying to chip him or get in his way just so he doesn't have a clear shot at quarterback. Going that extra way for your guys. And so when you watch today's athletes struggle with that and that nonverbal communication that falls off, that's why the good offensive lines are who they are. The bad ones struggle.
Former Raiders and Falcons offensive lineman Lincoln Kennedy, now on Fox Sports Radio on the weekends, Raiders Radio Network as well. We talk so much about Marshawn Lynch, how he's one of, if not the greatest running back in the game right now. Who on that offensive line for the Seattle Seahawks should we be talking more about this week?
Well, it's interesting because they've been interchanging all parts of the offensive line throughout the year due to injuries. Now, we would naturally probably say Russell Okung, the left tackle. You might be the first one you gravitate. More popular name than a lot of the other ones.
Yeah.
But because they haven't had that chemistry and that continuous nucleus throughout the year, due to injuries, due to changing inner parts, they've struggled. Both offensive lines to me in this game, New England's as well as Seattle's, didn't have as much consistency as I think they would have thought or liked to, in spite of their success. So I think both offensive lines can be exposed through this game because they're without that, they don't have that total chemistry.
Okay, so how are they here, though? Because we cover the New York Giants on your home for New York sports. The Giants had 4 to 5 offensive linemen on IR. They had more guys on IR than any other team in the NFL. And that's the excuse that we use, Lincoln. We kept saying, you know what, they have so many injuries on, there's no consistency.
Right.
That's why the Giants aren't any good. How are these teams where they're at in the Super Bowl with the inconsistency on the offensive line?
Good teams find a way to win.
Okay.
If you take New England, the fact that you've got Brady who can make plays with Gronk when you need it. You got Belichick who knows how to shut down opposing offenses. To me, New England's playing in a division that's pretty weak, mediocre.
Yeah.
One reason why they've been on top of the last 10, 12 years. It hasn't gotten as better as it should. Okay, look at the teams. The Jets without a quarterback. The Bills without a quarterback. Yep. Miami's still struggling to become relevant. So they've dominated that. Seattle wins a good old-fashioned football. You run the football with beast mode, and you play stingy defense. And that's how they built their foundation. And even when I thought they were trying to phase out Marshawn Lynch or sort of get away from him because they wanted to get the ball to Percy Harvin and all these other guys, they still got back to their bread and butter in order to be successful. And they realized it.
Right. Now, when you guys blocked for Rich Gannon, he's taller than Wilson, but he would drop down and throw sidearm a lot. So you had to open up lanes or else he was in trouble. If the Pats can keep Wilson in that pocket, are they going to be in trouble? Because he's not going to be able to throw with those.
I believe if either team has to pass the ball 25 times or more, they're not going to win the game.
Okay.
Both. Here's the way I think it's going to play out for New England. New England's passing attack, I see Seattle doing exactly what they did against Denver last year, playing bump and run receivers, and I think they're going to bracket Gronk and be physical with a linebacker or somebody on the line and have a safety covering over the top. So Brady's taking a whole lot of hits this year. So I don't see him necessarily going to be able to back up and be clean for 25-plus times a game. With Russell Wilson, without having that big play threat down the field, you can't afford to sit there and try to throw 25 times in this game. They're going to take that away. They also have a way of getting after you. So it's a run football game, and that's why I think it's a pick'em because that's where it is because no one has a true clear-cut downfield advantage.
All right. So former Raiders offensive lineman Lincoln Kennedy, who are you picking?
For the life of me, I try to bet with my head instead of my heart, but I can't support New England. I'm a Raider. It's personal.
Yeah. Would it have anything to do with a play that is no longer a rule?
A bad rule?
Yeah,
it does. The tuck rule.
That was your ring, man.
Who are you telling?
I tell everybody every day.
Yeah, he does. He's really obnoxious.
Well, you know what? You think about it. I've always thought that we had a window. We had a good window. 2000, we played AFC Championship against Baltimore. Yeah. Number one rush offense came up short because we lost our quarterback. 2001, tuck rule game. 2002, we go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And
Chucky's on the other sideline.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So
I could talk to you all day, man, but they won't let me.
Are you staring at his ring too?
Yeah, man.
That's a runner-up prize. It would have been bigger if we actually won it. That's what you get for second
awesome.
place.
All right,
That's
I'll
still
take a
pretty
picture
awesome.
with you with that ring. And Lincoln Kennedy, former Raiders offensive lineman, Raiders Radio Network, and Fox Sports Radio on the weekend. Lincoln, thanks for your time. Man. This was
My
fun.
pleasure, guys. Appreciate it.